Hello, everybody. All right, so today is Tuesday, July the 16th, 2024. Welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good week thus far. We're going to wait and give people a chance to come in, of course. As we're waiting, just a friendly reminder, of course, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with all that being said, as I said, we're just going to wait, give people a chance to. Oh, we actually, we might have people in here already. So with that, I guess I'll just talk about then what's on tap for tonight. A couple articles from Bounding into Comics. The first article we're gonna talk about came out a few days ago. Talking about I guess the English anime localized. So there's an English anime localized claims the My Dear Friend Nokotan subtitle controversy is an example of why we need to educate Japanese companies on what good localization looks like. I don't know where they're coming from on that because I've never seen that particular. I don't know if that's a manga or an anime series, but I guess we will find that out. And then also we're going to I guess there's some news on I guess the latest Creature Commandos animated series coming out as well. Talk a little bit about that, plus the wrestling wrap up and this day in niche history. So as I said, if you haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with all that being said, like a person left, okay. I guess we might as well just get started then, since I just went through everything. So here we go. Let's see now. All right, so with that, here we go. So, oh, come on. All right. All right, this is kind of funky. Okay, so great. They just this is bullshit. Okay, excuse my French there. They made it so that title. So I'll just read the title from here then. English anime localizer claims My Dear Friend Nokotan subtitle controversy is an example of why we need to educate Japanese companies on what good localization looks like. So we'll see who's talking here. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published back on the 13th, which was last Friday, I believe. Or no, last Saturday, actually. All right, so here we go. An English localizer is citing the recent debacle regarding Remo's English language sub-release of My Dear Friend Nokotan, an example of why the West needs to educate Japanese studios as to what quote unquote good localization looks like. All right, I wonder what this person I wonder who this localizer is and what they interpret as good localization. While watching the July 7th season premiere of the adorable animal slice of life comedy anime, My Dear Friend Nokotan, and deer spelled Deer as opposed to Dear. Fans noticed that something was amiss with the anime's English language subtitles. From choppy capitalization to randomly inserted punctuation to the occasional nonsensical line, almost every line of the episode's subtitle was marred with some sort of blatant error. And I guess there's a character right there they're talking about. Noko Kako, voiced by Megumi Hun. Faced with such a bizarre translation, many fans began to speculate that the bot's job may have been the work of AI, and thought it currently remains unknown whether the subs were done by machine or human hand. The mere speculation of the fact prompted yet another round of AI localization discourse. Oh, okay. Enter notorious Japanese to English localizer Katrina Leonidakis. Ah, all right. So, and we've reported on this young lady before. She basically is one of these who puts her own, her own political ideals into localizations. That's why companies are going more for the AI. I don't know if this is one of those things where she's trying to claim, well, AI did this, therefore, that's why you need us to localize. But let's see what she has to say here. Perhaps best known for proudly boasting about how she ran roughshod over HIDIVE's English subtitles for My Life as Inukai-san's Dog, and standing in defense of the, in smaller quotes, translation of I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. In other words, the emphasis on trans there. The idea. Leonidakis placed the blame for my dear friend Nokotan's terrible subtitles squarely on the shoulders of various Japanese studios involved in its production. Quote, speaking of Nokotan, a few people have pointed out oddities in the English subtitles too, mainly a ton of miscapitalizations for sentences, proper nouns, and a lack of split subtitles, unquote. Yeah, but that's more of an edit. I don't think that's as much a translation issue. That's more of an editing issue. Somebody still, I mean, as I recall, they were talking about when they were going to use the AI, they were still going to have human editors sit there and run through it, make sure that you know. She stated, quote, what's going on with the series? Did the licensor outsource the TL instead of using CR? I don't know what the initials mean. Quote, it's not unheard of Japanese companies to do, in smaller quotes, do their own localization, I guess. But when they don't know how localization works or what good localization looks like, it often ends up with disasters like these, unquote. Doesn't mean that you were doing a good job. A lot of people were upset because you were sitting there inserting your own politics into it. So, I mean, she then acknowledged, in quote, source, I've been hired a good amount of times to fix Prodco provided translations. Quote, this is why educating creators, whether they're filmmakers, animation companies, writers, game developers, etc., is so important. The Tokyo Mew Mew localizer emphasized, quote, good translation is a profit enabler. Bad translation just makes you look cheap and uncaring. The Gushing with Magical Girls English localizer continued on her My Dear Friend Nokotan localization crusade in response to at Little Bit of Jean's tweet on the anime's English dub. I don't know. I don't know if that girl's bleeding with a mouth there or not. Quote: This is one of the strangest localization decisions I've seen in a long time. Unquote. She stated. Quote: Even if the subscript is extremely workable, adapters in all languages have to tool it for lip flaps, shot links, etc. The only reason I can see them doing this, the Japanese company told them to. Quote, I work with dub studios around the world as part of my job, and a lot of the discussions we have revolves around adjusting important lines of dialogue for lip motions in ADR, unquote. Yeah, but the thing is that the reason, Katrina, the reason you got fired in the first place because you can't, you went beyond that. You went beyond just doing what you're supposed to, which is translating the material and making sure the grammar stuff. You were inserting your own political ideologies, and that's why they decided to go AI instead. Because they didn't, especially when they were hearing that customers were not happy with you inserting your own political ideologies there. She added, quote, it's the trickiest part of ADR script writing and what makes a dub go from good to great, unquote. Following her detour onto the topic of ADR, the Tokyo Mew Mew New localizer proceeded to provide her analysis of Nokotan's English language dub. Quote, I can guarantee you this was not the decision of whichever ADR writer or director that was in the booth with the VAs. Someone on high, in parentheses, likely in Japan, said to use the script they were given, unquote. She speculated, quote, and GD it, they've really done their best. Kudos to the VAs for sure, unquote. Quote, I've worked on projects where Japanese licensor has demanded we use their dub script, unquote, she explained. Quote, I've been a voice in the argument for why we should or shouldn't change certain dialogue lines. We had to pick and choose our battles to change the worst ones. This isn't surprising. To this end, Leonidakis reiterated, quote, this is why we need to educate companies on what good localization looks like and how to do it. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you're the one doing the good localizing. The reason a lot of these companies were going this way to begin with was because you were inserting your own political ideologies into the scripts, and nobody wanted to deal with that. That's why the Japanese companies decided to go AI. Anyways, I see we do have some people in the chat here. Okay, Sticky Art Shorts. Hi, hey, welcome to the show, my friend. Hope you'll stick around and check out the show. let's see. Good night, Spoon. Hey, Spoonie. The problem with uh, Majora's Mask is the princess took the ocarina away. You never ride Epona as a kid, and now it's, let's see, mysteriously absent. It is narratively wrong. All right, I don't know if you're talking about a. Let's see. You ever see Shimonade? No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen that one. Let's see. Hi, Mike. Anyways, as we continue on here, when it's kind of funny when I read the title of this article, I had a feeling it was going to be one of these, Western localizers who was still crying about the fact that the Japanese had decided to go AI because they were getting too many complaints from fans that these localizers were inserting too much of their own personal politics into the scripts and really taking away from the story and the material. So, because when they try to do it themselves, you end up with, quote, this, unquote. Well, this is just their first time. I mean, granted, they need probably English editors, but ones that are more in Japan. Quote, I feel so bad for all the voice actors excitedly coming to social media to announce their roles, many of them their first anime roles, unquote, she ultimately concluded. Quote, unfortunately, they're saddled with a script they didn't ask for and a boatload of upset fans who are now going to ask them why, quote unquote. Well, the reason is because, again, people like Katrina Leonidakis and a few other, localizers out there, like I believe another one is Samantha Noy Hart out of Houston, decided that they were going to push their, their political ideals into the scripts and try, which had nothing to do with the shows that they're localizing. And fans were getting upset. They were, the same, some of the same fans that are complaining about the bad localizations now are probably the same fans who were complaining about all the political stuff that was in the so I mean, an updated version of the English sub-release of My Dear Friend Okada's first episode has since been uploaded to Raymo's YouTube channel. So that's it for that story. Now again, I don't know if it has been confirmed that it actually is AI translation or not. That's just what they want to throw out there. Katrina Leonidakis wants to throw it out there as such, is because it's like, see, that's why you need us. That's why you need us. Even though, again, she's one of the reasons why people wanted Japanese to find either other translators or go AI in the first place, because she kept inserting her, her own political beliefs into her translations. I think you would enjoy Shimoneda. I may eventually watch it at some point. Good Night Spoon. I don't know when. I mean, it also depends on if it's dubbed or not. If it's not dubbed, then it's probably not as likely. But with that being said, let's get ready to move on to the other story that I was. And here's the other story that I was going to do tonight here. Let's see now. It is dubbed. Okay. I'll probably eventually will get to it. Can't tell you when, because I don't know. But I probably will check it out at some point. So anyways, we're at the 20-minute mark here. So YouTube blocked my message explaining the plot. Probably because you were trying to do a spoiler, or maybe it's a copyright issue or something like that. But anyways, let's get on to this next article. DC's Creature Commandos EP compares animated series to James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Says people aren't going to be surprised by what it is. All right, so let's get into this a little bit here. All right, so according to series executive producer Dean Lorre, DC Studios' Creature Commando series will ring very familiar to anyone who has watched showrunner James Gunn's previous live-action Suicide Squad film. There's John Cena as Peacemaker. Played off against Bloodsport. Lorre drew this comparison between the two gun-helmed, team-centric DC projects while speaking to The Wrap's Kayla Cobb during a recent 2024 Television Critics Association summer press tour. Asked by Cobb if he could provide any insight into the Commando's upcoming sortie, the EP asserted, executive producer, quote, in brackets here, Creature Commandos is going to be the first expression of James Gunn's DC universe. We're considering that canon, and I think it expresses, in brackets here, Gunn's perspective tonally on where he wants the universe to go, unquote. And again, guys, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that, let's see. I think it's because it contains the word dystopian, the words dystopian, immortal, or lewd. Okay. Maybe it will allow tagline. Shimonita, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. I have a question for you. Well, feel free to ask if I can't answer it. If I can't answer it, then I'll do my best to do so. Do you have any chemical dependencies? I guess depending on how you would define. Let's see. Do I have any chemical dependencies? I guess I would say no. I mean, unless you count soda, unless you want to count like soda or energy drinks, then yeah, you could say maybe I have a chemical dependency if you want to count those. But if you're counting what I think you're counting, if you're talking about like alcohol or illegal drugs or anything like that, no, I don't have any chemical dependencies. Okay, I do have to take blood pressure medication, atenolol, but I do take that as prescribed, which is one a day. So, so in answer to your question, unless you want to consider soda and energy drink in that, then then no, I don't have a chemical dependency. So I quit coffee cold turkey. I haven't been in this much pain in decades. I had to get a coffee just to stabilize. I am including sodas and energy drinks. Well, then, yeah, I'd say then I've had a. I guess if you want to, I've been. If you want to say this, and yeah, I've been a. You could argue that maybe I've been addicted to soda since I was like 12 years old, and I've been addicted to, um, if you want to make the argument, even though I wouldn't consider myself per se addicted, you know, because I would have occasion taking a day like I didn't have an energy drink yesterday. Okay. Um, but usually, like particularly with the energy drinks, I only drink one a day. That's it. One can of Monster in the morning usually as my breakfast, and I have a soda with my meals. Usually just one bottle though. So I guess it's more of a habit. I mean, like I've gone a day or two without drinking, usually without drinking, but like yesterday, like for example, yesterday when I didn't have an energy drink, it's because basically I kind of sat there and um I kind of sat there like, okay, so let me explain it like this. Let me explain it like this. Okay, so this kind of this is my typical day. Okay, I'm gonna give you like what my typical day is. During the week on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, basically, and it's generally the same. Maybe some slight differences. That's why I said So during the week, Monday through Friday, I get up in the morning. I get up in the morning, basically get myself ready, get myself up and ready, take my shower, walk up to the store, get my energy drink, come back home, basically go through my YouTube subscriptions, right? Do whatever other little putterings around the house I have to do, and usually try to watch my afternoon anime, afternoon Tsunami block, usually around, from 3 to 5. I'm also in that also preparing my nightly shows here by setting them up. Um, then of course around 6 o'clock Pacific time here in the States, 9 Eastern, do my show, and then go and basically watch my nightly. Well, let's see. I'll usually try to keep up on my subscriptions. So on Sunday I'll obviously either in the afternoon or in the evening I'll go up pick up some dinner from, let's say, like 7-Eleven, bring it home, and then watch my nightly anime, then go to bed, and then on the weekends, of course, Saturday, basically it's similar. It's just not as time compressed though. Obviously, because I don't do a show on Saturday, but I'm also preparing my shows for the week. I'm putting them up on setting them up for the upcoming week on Saturday. You know, and then on Sunday, of course, I do. So basically, yeah, I mean, um, I know some people think I should just give up on energy drinks and sodas altogether, but I'm not going to. Okay, I've cut back on them as much as I think I'm going to reasonably be expected to do so. You know, I am drinking more water these days too, but so let's see. 9 cups a day for me dropped to 0. Massive migraine. That would not go away with the normal Advil. Well, yeah, because basically the thing is that your body's built up a tolerance for it. That's why. And when you take that element out of you, it's like, that's kind of what happens. You have to remember too, like, because I can't drive because of my eyesight, I've never been able to drive. So I basically walk everywhere. So it's not like I'm just calling them to deliver the soda to me or anything like that. I'm actually burning calories going to get the soda and bring it home. And even with my energy drinks, I'm usually walking back home as I'm drinking it. So, it's not like I'm just sitting here, just drinking stuff, without, burning it off in some form or another. So that's a good routine. I just got back into walking 1 mile before work, 1.5, throughout the day. Quarter of a mile is at break, and then 2 miles after work. What I would recommend, good night, Spoon, if you're gonna start walking more, think about it like this, okay? Think about ways you can incorporate walking into your normal routines, okay? If you feel like you want to go up to the store to grab something or what have, I mean, I know like going to the gas station and put gas in your car or whatever you drive. I know, yeah, you have to take your car for that. But if you're just going up, let's say to the store because you want to grab, a quick, quickie meal, or you want to go up to your local fast food place, and I know like in my neighborhood here where I'm at, right? Basically, our local the McDonald's. We have a local McDonald's here that by car is probably no more than 5 minutes, if that. By car. Now, when I walk, it's about 15 to 20 minutes to get to the McDonald's. But if you got to go places, and unless you absolutely need your car, like you need to go get gas for your car or something like that, if you're just going out running errands, let's say you're going to the bank to take money out, or you're going out to just grab a bite to eat or what have you, try incorporating walking instead of just jumping in your. Yes, I know going in your car would be a lot quicker, but you'll probably have more health benefits if if instead of just jumping in your car, you just walk. You just walk up to your local stores. I kind of had to do that because I couldn't get a driver's license because of my eyesight. So, gonna get back to hiking. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's get back to this article here. Oh, I was definitely half a mile down the street multiple times a day, and I'm walking it. Now I'm walking it and biking it too. Mm-hmm. All right. So with that, let's get back to the article here. Let's see. To this end, Lori then admitted that the series' overall premise of a ragtag team of horror-themed metahumans undertaking black ops missions for the government would feel immediately familiar to anyone who saw this aforementioned take on Task Force X. Quote, in brackets, it's nothing new, unquote, concluded the executive producer. Quote, it's Suicide Squad. He's done it. People aren't going to be surprised by what it is, but I think they'll be really encouraged to see how completely it's going to inform this new version um, of the DCU, which I'm very excited about, unquote. Notably, this is not the first time that a member of Creature Commando's cast and crew has teased the series' direction as quintessentially gun, unquote, small quote. Pressed for his thoughts on the project's overall quality during a panel appearance at the 2024 Boston Fan Expo, series Dr. Phosphorus voice actor Alan Tudyk, and I believe he actually did some voices for Justice League as well. Declared, quote, when I and actually Batman the Brave and the Bold too. Quote, when I read it, it was the best thing I had read in so long. It was moving, and that is what James Gunn does so well. I can't wait for people to see it. I've now seen some of it, and it looks really great, unquote. All right, quote, it's so good, unquote. He added, quote, I realized I'm the perfect audience for him. He does that thing with Joss Whedon. Um, did so well where it is. There's humor and everything, so you have these moving, touching stories. Um, about these extraordinary characters who can sometimes be meta-humans and sometimes just be, just interesting people around meta-humans and robots and animals, unquote. So let's see if you guys have anything new to say sometime. Let's check the. Nope. All right. Quote, he's funny and somehow it's the way in for me to get to some deeper feelings as well, unquote, Tudyk further praised. Quote, like when something's making you laugh and then it pulls the rug out from under of you, pulled out rug pulled out of you. Um, Sometimes it comes in the form of a huge telephone pole sized stake through all of your major organs because that's big stake. Um, anyway, James does that, unquote. Presently, Creature Commandos is set to start haunting Max, and in doing so, kick off Gunn and his co-studio head Peter Safran's reboot of the DCU this December. All right, so there we go with that. That's all. That's all the articles I was gonna do tonight. Let's see if anybody is commenting or anything like that. No, I guess not. All right, so with that, I guess it would be a good time to move ahead to the wrestling wrap up then. We're gonna take a look at what went down on Raw last night. We'll talk about some AEW news and, of course, what's going on tonight's NWA Power. Um, Let me get to that because there was quite a bit of stuff that went down on Raw last night, and of course, Rhea Ripley, who had made a return last week, came to the forefront to really confront Dom on his recent behavior. So on last night's Monday Night Raw from WWE, Sheamus defeated Bronson Reed. As I believe after the match, he was attacked by his former Battling Brutes mate, Pete Dunne. So there's supposedly a program and being prepared. Sonya Deville defeated Zelina Vega in a singles match. In a non-title match, World Champion Damian Priest defeated Braun Strowman, and then had a bit of a verbal confrontation with his next pay-per-view opponent of Gunther coming up at SummerSlam in a few weeks here, in which he showed what he could do on the mic. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated former WWE Women's Champions Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. Jey Uso defeated Dominic Mysterio. Now, apparently, from what I understand, there have been some hints possibly being dropped, where now, okay, so Rhea Ripley was featured quite a bit on last night's Raw, through various segments involving the Judgment Day. She congratulated Priest on his title defense. She confronted Dom on his, let's say, his bad behavior with Liv Morgan, and there is some speculation now they might be dropping hints that maybe there may be a kayfabe romance in the works for Jey and Rhea Ripley. The reason I say kayfabe is because in reality, of course, Rhea just recently got married to her longtime boyfriend, Buddy Matthews, who's actually over in AEW. And Jey Uso, I believe, is married to fellow WWE star Naomi. So, and then the Intercontinental title match ended in a no contest. Sami Zayn defending against Ilya Dragunov. So that's, and then let's see. All right, so I was definitely driving half a mile down the street multiple times a day. Now I'm walking it, which is good. That's good, Good Night Spoon, because look, there's a couple of benefits there. One, you're not wasting as much gas, and also you're getting the exercise in. And it's just and even if you want to go, as I said, go and grab something in the store or something like that, or go and grab bite to eat or whatever, or go do whatever your errands are. If you can walk it, it's probably more to your benefit. Anyways, let's see. And biking it too. Were you a WWF holdout, or did you accept WWE easily? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I accepted it. I just accepted that's the way they wanted to go. I think at times the whole idea of quote unquote sports entertainment is a little more BS, because now granted, I get I keep track of WE, AEW, NWA. I kept track of wrestling pretty much since I was a kid, right? And the way they would work the matches back in the 80s and 90s was actually pretty good. Putting combinations together to work towards the end there, of the match. Unlike today where it does seem like, and I know there have been a few guys who complained about this, where it's just high spot after high spot after high spot. I know, particularly today's fan base, the idea of watching a guy work over somebody's arm, by like applying an arm bar and then, pinning their arm down and driving their knee into the arm probably isn't all that exciting. But, eventually, you can, there's a bunch of different ways. There's a bunch of different ways and combos you can, work a body part, right? There's a number of combinations you can come up with that would make it exciting, to where you're not just simply just flying all over the place like a bunch of Mexican jumping beans. So, I wouldn't say they wanted it. They were being sued by the World Wildlife Fund. Yeah, I mean, well, I think you have to remember Vince was still in charge at this point. Even he was kind of going away from the idea of wrestling and more calling it sports entertainment. Better question. Were you WWF or WCW back in the day? I'd watch both fairly equally. I'd say that if I had to actually choose between the two, I probably was more of a WCW guy than a W, which some people would find surprising, because I'm in California here. And of course, WWE or WWF at the time was was technically their territory. But you have to remember WCW, which was born from the ashes of Jim Crockett Promotions and Georgia Championship Wrestling and Championship Wrestling Florida. They were based more in the southeastern part of the United States. But even when I got it, it's kind of funny. I discuss, it's like, probably because I was here in California, my first exposure was probably to the WWF. That was probably my first exposure. But I'd also catch, some of the NWA stuff at the time. Jim Crockett Promotions on Saturday nights, Georgia Championship. Well, let's see. I was starting to watch wrestling in the late '80s, so by then, WCW was basically Ted Turner. By the time I was starting to watch it more, like the late '80s, early '90s, Ted Turner had just bought out Jim Crockett. Had officially fully changed the name of the company to World Championship Wrestling. It was as far as I know, still known as as Jim Crockett Promotions, until, of course, Ted Turner bought out Jim Crockett Jr. And now, of course, you got Billy Corgan basically running the NWA, and he's slowly building it back up, for the modern era, which is a good thing to see. But here's the thing. So when I was growing up, you'd see the WWF programming on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Superstars would usually be on Saturday mornings, and then Wrestling Challenge would be on Sunday mornings, right? But there were times when some of the independent stations out here, stations that were not necessarily, and even for a little while, even our NBC affiliate had this too. Aside from, of course, from the TBS and World Championship Wrestling on Saturday. Well, here in California it was Saturday afternoon, but for most people it was Saturday night because it's like 6:05 Eastern, 3:05 Pacific. Okay, but aside from that, if you were up, let's say you were up late at night, if you were up, if you were up either late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, anywhere between 12 and 4, you might be able to, catch an older, let's say, an episode that maybe, an episode, a rerun episode of an NWA programming, let's see. NBC for a while actually had worldwide on at 6:30 in the morning before they actually put cartoons on. Okay, like shows like Main Event and Pro were being shown on some of the independent syndicated channels. So, Sting, Booker T, Macho Man, and Goldberg. Well, you have to remember Macho Man. So Macho Man was in the WWE before he was in WCW. Okay, and even before that, he was making. Even before he signed with the WWF back in '85, right? He was, he initially actually started out in his father's company, ICW, based, which was considered what they called an outlaw promotion in Kentucky. Hey, Rick. Thanks for dropping in. Anyways, let me get through the rest of the wrestling wrap up here and stuff like that, because I know you guys are gonna want to get over to Rick's show here. Let me get through the rest of the show here. So, with that, so in AEW news, it was recently confirmed that CJ Perry, who was formerly known as Lana in the WWE, has since left the company. It's basically her contract became up. She really hadn't been used much. Miro, who's her husband, her real life husband, hasn't really been used much. Natalia recently signed a deal with the WWE. Let's see. My Macho Man knowledge came entirely from Slim Jim. And that clearly credited him as WCW in my mind. Yeah. Good night, soon. Step into a. I think Rick, it's actually snap into a Slim Jim is the actual tagline there. But anyways, so now let me at least tell you guys what's going on tonight on what's going down on tonight's NWA Power episode. Because they got they have more and more of the So on tonight's Power episode, as they're continuing with with this year's Crockett Cup tournament, EC3 will be defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against Sam Adonis. The World Women's Tag Team title of the King Bees of Charity King and Danny B will be defending the titles against Tiffany Nieves, who was just recently signed to the NWA. After, of course, some trial, teaming with Reika Tehaka. And in the Crockett Cup Finals match, former NWA United States Tag Team Champions, the Immortals, Kratos and Odison, take on two members of the Southern Six of Kerry Morton and Alex Taylor. So that's all going down there. I agree with Mike. It's snap. It's not a matter of agreeing with me. It's just what is. Snap or step It's still a weird. Well, no, because if you saw the commercial, Rick, you'd understand why they said it that way. Snap into a Slim Jim. The way. Okay, so the Slim Jims are basically they're a thin piece of jerky, basically. Okay, just one long thin stick of jerky, right? And so the idea is that when you bite into it like this, and then go snap. It's like snap it off. Okay, so that's where the idea, the slogan came from. You know, yeah, because he snaps the Slim Jim, right? Exactly. Good night, spoon. You know, so. Anyways, let's see. Rick said something before that. I saw the commercial several times. All right, then you should be able to understand. It's not so weird when you really look at it. Then it's not as weird as you may think. So, anyways, so now that we're done with the wrestling wrap up, as it were, now let's go ahead and today being Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Let's take a look back this day in Nietzsche history. So remind myself of a few things here. All right, so first off, I'm going to head back 30 years ago today. Never seen them snap it like that in the commercial. Go back and watch some of the commercials. That's all I can say. He also has also had a husband. I have no idea where. I have absolutely okay. Macho Man had wives, not husbands. I know we got that idea, but anyways. So let's go ahead and let's head back 30. Like you should absolutely know this reference. For shame. Let's head back 30 on this date back in 1994. So I can from the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, now known as the 2300 Arena, by the way. ECW held its Heatwave event back in 1994 on this date back in 1994, 30 years ago today. The main event saw the Public Enemy, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge, defeat the Funk Brothers, Terry and Dory Jr., in a barbed wire match. And with Terry passing away just a few months ago, Dory Funk is the last surviving member of that particular match right now. So let's see. Shane Douglas retained the ECW World Title by countout against Sabu. The Sandman defeated Tommy Cairo in a dueling cane match. Tommy Dreamer defeated Stevie Richards and then lost to Mr. Hughes. And then Mikey Whipwreck retained the ECW World Television title via disqualification over Chad Austin. The night opened up with the Rotten Brothers, Axel and Ian Rotten, defeating Rockin' Rebel and Hack Myers. So there you go with that. Let's see. Rick, please educate this gentleman. It's the first time, if not most memorable time, comics and wrestling cross paths. Well, okay, if you're meaning, I do know. Let's see. First off, I know that Warrior tried to come out with a comic in the '90s there, and I know that Hulk Hogan, the WWE had or WWF had Rock and Wrestling back in the '80s, but he's referring to Bonesaw, who Macho Man played in the first Spider-Man movie. Oh, okay, that explains it. I never watched the first Spider-Man movie. Bonesaw is ready. All right. So, anyways, moving on. 1994 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on this date, 30 years ago today, back in 1994, in Japan, a few anime movies came out, including Studio Wombat's Fatal Fury, the motion picture, Studio Ghibli's Pompoko, and Tokyo movie Shinsha's Shireke Anpan Man Rinkaru Majikaru Maho no Goho. Now on Paraman was, I think, a bit of a franchise. They had numerous. Let's see, what's the so translated? It's the Go on Ponman, the lyrical magical witches school. So on this date, Fatal Fury, the motion picture, Pompoko, and Go on Ponman, the lyrical witches school, all premiered in Japanese theaters on this date 30 years ago. Now, moving ahead to 2014. There we go. Moving ahead to 10 years ago today, 2014. On this date, 10 years ago in 2014, the 15th issue of Batman Eternal from DC Comics went on sale in on newsstands on this date 10 years ago today. Sold for $2.99, 32 pages. Plotted by Scott Snyder and James Tynion. Scripted by Ray Fox. Penciled by Dustin Nguyen. I don't believe that's the same Dustin Nguyen who's an actor who played H.T. Aoki in 21 Jump Street. I believe it's that guy. Inked by Derek Prodis. Rob Lee did the lettering, and the coloring was done by John Kalis. And finally, moving ahead to 2019, on this date in 2019, five years ago today, on this date 5 years ago today, the final episode of the Powerpuff Girls reboot series airs after only 3 seasons, as it was poorly received by fans of the original 1998 series. So the Powerpuff Girls reboot series was aired its final episode on this date 5 years ago today. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Rick, of course, if you're still here. All right, so if you're still here, I'll send you the link tomorrow to for the show. Here you come on. have more niche news. Of course, have Rick on Friday as well for when we go back to March of 1940 to look at comics on sale in March of 1940. We'll be introducing everybody to the world of Ace magazines, Ace publications. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.